ES Audio.
From the Evening Standard in London, I'm David Marsland, and this is the Leader Weekends. Every Saturday, we bring you a bonus episode of our business podcast, How to Be a CEO. This is a cut-down version, so hit the link in the show notes to hear the full thing, or search your podcast provider for How to Be a CEO. There are new episodes every Monday morning.
Bonjour, je suis John Weeks, et vous écoutez How to Be a CEO avec Arne Schepke. Okay, that's about the extent of my foreign language abilities, all thanks to my GCSE French teacher. But if you're going to learn a language these days, the chances are you'll reach for an app.
The real downside of the classic model is that you only see your student once a week, twice a week maybe, so the frequency is actually missing. And that's the one thing that the apps have been fantastic at, is to create this daily habit of 15, 20 minutes a day. That's really all that we need to invest as human beings.
Arne Schepke is CEO of Babbel, the language learning app that's been around since 2007 and is still looking for new ways to make the process of turning your hello into bonjour, hola, or konnichiwa even simpler.
The language learning problem can still be solved better. We're continuously trying to revolutionize the way digital language learning works.
I'm John Weeks from the Evening Standard, and this is How to Be a CEO. Arne Schepke became CEO of Babbel back in 2015, having spent his time between his career and travelling the world. He's been at Babbel now for more than 7 years. So what about this job has kept him from jetting off on his travels once more?
I think it comes down to one thing, and that's the purpose of the company and the value that the company brings to its learners every single day. I really have never had to explain that to anyone since moving to Babbel and to the language learning space. Why do you do what you do, Arne? Never a question. That is more of a question when you're in retail or when you're selling baby diapers. All of those are very needed, but the purpose, I think, is just glaringly clear when you're in language learning. The language learning problem can still be solved better. We're continuously trying to revolutionize the way digital language learning works. We're currently paving a path to becoming a true ecosystem of learning methods. So moving you from the safe space, that the self-study safe space that inside of our app, where you can learn on your own time in a non-judged space. We just added live tutoring to that. And all of a sudden you need to produce speech on the go. It's a conversation only format. So it's a great complement in terms of learning method. We introduced podcasts, which is an audio-only passive learning mode that you can take on the go. So we're surrounding our learners with different learning stimuli. And I think it goes back to the blended learning theory that's proven successful and proven superior to any other. Our learners actually do that already themselves, trying to stitch together our app and a YouTube video and a YouTube tutorial and a few friends they might have who speak the language, and we can bring it together and use technology to make it easier. So the purpose and the potential that technology has to improve the language learning experience significantly still today. Also realizing how truly important that is in the world. It's easy to understand, I get the value of language learning, but to understand the societal value of it and to understand how heartbreaking situations like the Ukrainian war refugee movements over the last couple of months, where we decided to build a free Ukrainian to German to English to Polish product and offer that free to all refugees. You actually understand not just how purpose-driven your organization is, but also how powerful that is.
And we know Babbel isn't the only language app out there. A few of them have sort of popped up over the last 10 years or so. What is that competition like?
I split it into good competition and bad competition. So anyone who does a good job at providing language learning services that actually work, that actually get you to your own finish line, your own learning goal, I think are formidable and help build a market, because it helps build our confidence in ourselves that we can learn language. What is very particular about the language learning space is that none of us think we're great at it as human beings. Like very, very few people have a very high self-efficacy when it comes to language learning. And so the last thing we need is someone to tell us, I've got the solution for you, I have your back, and then 2 months in, you realize you haven't learned anything. That doesn't just make you waste 2 months of your time, it also breaks the back of any self-efficacy or any self-confidence in your ability to learn. So that's my main differentiation. Then I think everyone else hopefully does a good job at it. We don't see anyone out there really trying to do the same thing that we're doing. So providing a digital blended learning form, an ecosystem that covers more language learning methods and bringing it together digitally and with technology. So merging the AI power that we see, we use the data that's generated on platform to make better recommendations to provide you with more individualized learn paths, and match that with the proven successful academic concepts of which type of learning content actually works for learning. What do you need to learn when? That has been around for 100 years, and the most recent theories are 30 years old. So we're not reinventing the wheel on the didactics or linguistics side, but we're bringing that together with technology, and I think that's pretty special, and we don't see anyone out there doing that. So really trying to make sure that all of us who want to learn the language are able to learn the language.
Let's go to the ads now. In part 2, why beanbags and ping-pong tables aren't all you need to build a successful work culture.
You can put on sneakers and get rid of the tie. You can put beanbags everywhere in the office and still have a very hierarchical company culture. You're never going to be young and hip.
So talking about Babbel itself as a company, being founded in 2007, it is still a relatively young and new company. Is it like a modern company these days? Do you have the beanbags and the ping pong tables, for example?
Yeah, we actually do try to keep the best of being a small company, being a relatively fresh company, and at the same time also enjoy the benefits of being already a relatively large and successful company. We're in the 3-digit millions of revenue. Our team is more than 750 people large, and we're 15 years old, so we're probably not the stereotypical startup. I've heard us be called different things, from scale up to grown up to the pimple-faced teenager. All of those have probably some truth and ring to them. I think what's important is that we mature in places where maturity actually helps our learners, helps us be more efficient, and keep the curiosity, agility, and the risk-taking alive that younger companies find simpler. That's really what I care most about. Do we have beanbags? Yes, we do. Do we have ping pong tables and foosball tables? Yes, we do. But it's really about how you collaborate and the type of decisions you take, and how the company culture evolves.
And a lot of new companies, and even some older ones these days, are thinking a lot more about their work environment and work culture. One of the challenges for every workplace, of course, has been the transition to hybrid working. How have you found managing that?
Yeah, and just to get back to your point about traditional companies trying to become young and cool and hip, you can put on sneakers and get rid of the tie. You can put beanbags everywhere in the office and still have a very hierarchical company culture. You're never going to be young and hip, right? So I think that's what I was trying to say with, it's really about the culture and the way of working, rather than the externalities of what makes a startup or a young company. Hybrid working, I think we went through the exact same waves that everyone else goes through. At the beginning of the pandemic, we were very concerned for the health of our employees. We were busy, moving a luckily digital business fully remote. I do think we had it a lot easier than everyone else, because we don't have physical goods, no production, no logistics, no warehousing, no shops, etc. But we still had to go through everything. We were well prepped. We used a couple of early markets as testing grounds. So we had a playbook by the time the first wave of lockdowns hit, that we then replicated, and then quickly realized that it actually works, and it actually works quite well, and that there's benefits to the productivity, the efficiency, the speed of a remote setup. And then I think about a year in, we started seeing that, or half a year to a year in, we started seeing that it gets pretty lonely. As human beings, we're actually social beings, and that even in a work context, we lack the informal networks, the informal interactions, and the social support system that we all need. And we started investing into mental health. We started investing a lot more into team activities, and tried to allow for light touch in-person formats, especially over the summer periods. And now we're still in a, I would say, hybrid mode between in-office and remote. We give a lot of flexibility to our teams to find the right collaboration mode. And we see that play out very differently. So rather than saying it's 3 days a week for everyone, and it's going to be Monday and Tuesday for you, and Wednesday and Friday for you. We actually said every team can choose the right model for themselves, and you get different models, right? For an agile tech team, it actually makes sense to have a rolling 2-week cycle of ways of working and hybrid setup that fits to the sprint rhythm, right? Which is a repeating rhythm. For a finance team, it might make more sense to have a monthly cycle because it works with the financial closing cycles. So we actually found that keeping that flexibility and catering to the team's needs works a lot better than trying to find a one-size-fits-all solution that works across the whole company.
That was Babbel CEO Arne Schepke. For more interviews, news and analysis, head to standards.co.uk/business or pick up the Evening Standard newspaper. How to be a CEO is back on Monday. We'll see you then.